To really understand how big of a deal this is, we first have to look at how things have worked for a very, very long time. For years, one single organization has effectively held the keys to the entire U.S. real estate kingdom.
And here's exactly how they did it. The rule was simple. If you wanted access to the MLS in your area, you had to become a realtor. That meant you had to join the National Association of Realtors, and you had to pay up, not just to them, but to your state and your local associations too. It was a package deal. No way around it.
And let's talk about the cost, because this is where it gets really interesting. You've got your local fees, your state fees, and then the national NAR fee right on top. So every single year, an agent was looking at shelling out anywhere from, say, $700 to almost $1,000. And that's just for the privilege of using the most basic tool they need to do their job.
For decades, the real estate industry is pretty much played by one set of rules. But what if I told you the very foundation of how agents get into the market just crumbled? Yeah, today we're diving into a massive shift that could honestly change everything.
Just think about that for a second. Getting access to the multiple listing service, the absolute lifeblood of any real estate business, but without those mandatory and, let's be honest, pretty hefty association dues. For years, that was just a pipe dream for most agents out there. Well, guess what? It's not a dream anymore. A truly historic policy repeal has just blown the doors wide open, and the shockwaves from this are going to be huge. So what exactly happened? Let's get into it.
To really understand how big of a deal this is, we first have to look at how things have worked for a very, very long time. For years, one single organization has effectively held the keys to the entire U.S. real estate kingdom.
And here's exactly how they did it. The rule was simple. If you wanted access to the MLS in your area, you had to become a realtor. That meant you had to join the National Association of Realtors, and you had to pay up, not just to them, but to your state and your local associations too. It was a package deal. No way around it.
And let's talk about the cost, because this is where it gets really interesting. You've got your local fees, your state fees, and then the national NAR fee right on top. So every single year, an agent was looking at shelling out anywhere from, say, $700 to almost $1,000. And that's just for the privilege of using the most basic tool they need to do their job.
But that mandatory system, that whole monopoly on access we just talked about, it's just been completely dismantled. And listen, this isn't some small tweak we're talking about. This is a foundational change that carves out a brand new path forward.
So here's the watershed moment. In late 2025, after facing a major antitrust risk assessment, the National Association of Realtors officially repealed its long-standing cornerstone policy. Just like that.
So, what's the bottom line here? Well, NAR got rid of a whole bunch of its MLS policies, but the biggest one, the real game changer, was the rule that said only dues-paying NAR members could get MLS access. That's gone. Poof. Local MLS boards now have total freedom to give access to any licensed agent or broker, whether they're a realtor or not. This basically forces NAR to shift from being a gatekeeper to just another trade organization that actually has to prove its value to get people to join.
And with that massive barrier to entry just vaporized, a type of brokerage that was only really possible in a few places before can now go national, and it's called the non-realtor model.
This whole thing was really pioneered by a brokerage down in Florida called Easy Realty. They built their entire business around a super simple, powerful idea. Give agents MLS access without all the politics and mandatory dues.
Here's the brilliant part. Instead of monthly fees or those big annual dues, agents just pay a simple, flat fee, $495 per transaction site. That's it. You only pay when you actually close a deal and make money.
And if that wasn't good enough, there's a cap. The absolute most an agent will ever pay to the brokerage in a single year is $4,950. After they hit that number, they keep 100% of their commission. That gives agents incredible financial predictability.
So let's just put these two models side by side for a second. When you actually see them next to each other, the financial difference is, well, it's staggering.
Okay, so on one side, you have the traditional model with up to $1,000 in mandatory annual dues that you have to pay whether you're closing deals or not. On the other side, zero association dues. You pay only when you succeed. And here's where the scale just blows your mind. For a brokerage with 100 agents, that's nearly $100,000 a year in dues that can now go right back into the business or into the agent's pockets.
Because of these incredible savings, the prediction is that a tectonic shift is coming. Some analysts are saying that as many as 60% of agents will probably choose to opt out of NAR now that they actually have a choice.
I mean, the thinking is pretty simple, right? Why pay for the whole buffet if the one thing you absolutely need, MLS access, is now on the a la carte menu? All of this points to a brand new future for the entire industry. So for brokers out there who are tired of forking over tens of thousands in dues for their agents, what are the immediate, actionable next steps? What do you do right now?
Okay, here's your playbook. First, start auditing your local MLSs. Find out which ones have already adopted this new policy. Second, get on the phone with their leadership and formally request non-member access. Third, update your recruiting pitch immediately. This is a massive cost-saving advantage you can offer new agents. And finally, take a hard look at replicating this lean, agent-friendly model for your own brokerage.
Make no mistake, this isn't just a small change. It's a fundamental restructuring of the industry's entire power dynamic. As the source material we looked at boldly puts it, the future of real estate is non-realtor. It's a huge win for brokers and agents who are looking for more freedom and flexibility, and it leaves us with one giant question. In this new landscape, how will the traditional organizations adapt to prove they're still worth the price of admission?